Do you have to turn it on? Oh my god. Oh my god. Talk to the Entities is a class that has been created by Shannon O'Hara. It's a class where we use the tools of access consciousness and apply it actually to the entity world. Now, when I say entity world, you might be like, what is that? Yes, ghosts and all that kind of stuff. Basically, an entity is a person who, or a thing that does not have a body. And it mostly deals with people who have passed who are still hanging around, but also with the world of nature and nature spirits, basically energies that are not embodied. And they're actually more disembodied entities than embodied entities. This is not to freak you out, it is actually to show you that we are actually already living together. But we have created this very artificial separation between us and this world of the entities. And this separation is actually also where you can see that we have actually separated from what we know, from what we perceive, from trusting our awareness. And Talk to the Entities for me is a class where you actually step into this space where you start to trust you and all the things you've always known and all the things you're aware of and all the perceptions you're having. It is a class that for me, it's a class that is so profound and so wide. Yes, it is about entities, and it is such a huge invitation for you to start to function from that potency, from that awareness that you actually always have had available, but that you learned to shut off, to turn off, to avoid, to reject, to pretend is not present, because the people in this world say it's not true, it does not exist. When I started to do access consciousness classes, I heard about this entity stuff, and I was like, oh, this is nothing for me. And then there were people who also make it very important, and I was like, oh my god, this stuff is, I don't have anything with entities. And as I was proceeding with classes, I realized like, hey, there is something going on here. And when I started to follow these classes, I realized, oh my god, I had this when I was a kid. I started to remember things. And how often do you suddenly think you hear a voice and you turn around and there's nobody? Or you're like, hey, are you perceiving some funny energy in this building? That's what this is about. It's about that awareness and actually allowing it for you to have that awareness. And the thing with the entities class is a lot of people go, oh, I have nothing to do with entities, and then they come to the class and they realize that they actually have a lot of capacities. Their world just opening up and they're like, oh my god, there's all this stuff, like kind of like what I had, memories and stuff like this, but also really like, oh my god, I have these capacities that I never knew I had, and this is what happens in this class. This is what is possible and what is made available during the Talk to the Entities class. You start to recognize, and also not only recognize, but actually claim your capacities with energies and with the entity world. So fear and doubt. Actually, fear and doubt are the two most popular reactions to entities. And I would even say to awareness, that you go, oh my god, I hear something, or I'm aware of something, and you freak out, which is normal. And I would even say that if you're not scared, you're cuckoo. You better be scared, because otherwise you're crazy. And this class really deals with that fear that can come from this life, that you have learned, that you've seen with your parents, that actually has nothing to do with your own fear, because it's not true, or from any other lifetime even. So it really deals with this very present energy for a lot of people of fear in their life that actually starts to change. And then the second one is doubt. Now, how many of us know somebody who never does doubt? I don't know many people. And this is the insanity. It's normal to doubt yourself. Talk to the Entities is where you start to stop buying into doubt and you actually start to trust you. You start to trust you. How often do you, for example, go, oh, what am I aware of? Do you hear something? And they're like, somebody else goes, no. And you're like, oh, I must be imagining it. And you give up your awareness like this, or you go into, did I hear it or not hear it? I'm not sure. Is it possible? This doesn't make sense. This is so weird. This is so irrational. How can this be? And that's the whole thing. The energy world and awareness, consciousness is not rational. It's not logical. It does not make sense. So the Talk to the Entities class, the beautiful thing is that it does not only deal with the entities, it actually touches all aspects of your life. And I have seen people coming to the class and leaving with so much more sense of ease with their bodies or with their relationships. Talk to the Entities is actually where you are allowing yourself to start to communicate, start to be aware with this entity world, and in doing that, you become more present with people who also have bodies. If you're willing to have ease and clarity with somebody who doesn't have a body, what does that change when you're actually dealing with people on a daily basis? I see that that changes everything because you're actually willing to be that present. If you're not present, you can't deal with an entity. Just like a kid. Entities are like babies or like kids. You have to be present, and it changes everything in your daily life, in all aspects of your life, because it is all about awareness and about your willingness to stretch your reality where the entities are included, and you can start to function from that great space of perceiving, of knowing, of receiving, of receiving, of receiving, of communicating, and of creating and being. So I love this class. I have so much fun. It's not heavy, it's not scary, it can be intense, it's profound, and I would say it's life-changing, reality-shifting.